DYC, where you at, bro?
Nothing is on the shelves. Not a thing. Not a bag of rice. Not a box of noodles.
Ice in the pan, why me break the stick? Will.
Hello. Welcome to my kitchen. I went to the store and child. Nothing is on the shelves. Not a thing. Not a bag of rice. Not a box of noodles. Actually, I was able to find a couple boxes of noodles, but seriously, there were literally only a couple boxes of noodles. So the issue was, what am I gonna cook? Pork chops. Now, I don't even usually cook pork chops, to be honest. But today we're making pork chops. Smothered pork chops. For this recipe, you're gonna need pork chops, minced onion, organic no salt seasoning, granulated garlic, chopped Creole seasoning. This does it to everything. Creole seasoning. Italian seasoning. Paprika. And chili powder. These are pretty much my go-to seasonings for like anything that I make. Pretty much is the base for all the seasonings that I use. So let's get started. First, you need to oil a pan. So I have the pan on medium high to start out. I'm just gonna add a little bit of oil to it, vegetable oil, nothing too crazy, just enough to kind of get those pork chops to start browning. All right, so we're just gonna season up these bad boys with all of the things I just mentioned, starting with some minced onion. Now you can also use onion powder for that. Doesn't have to be minced onion. When I bought this thing of onion, they didn't have any onion powder in a big thing, and I used so much of it that it really doesn't make sense for me not to get the big thing of onion powder. So that was garlic, onion. This is paprika, and I honestly don't know what the paprika does for the taste. I just always put it on everything. Cajun, not a whole lot for the Cajun, just because pork is already salty in nature. So when I flip it over and season the other side, I'm not gonna be using that Cajun. I'm gonna go ahead and put the chili powder on there. Italian. And this organic no salt seasoning from Costco. We picked this up when we went to Costco last. So I guess I'm gonna start using it. So then I just like to kind of pat the seasoning in, flip it over, pat the seasoning in, flip it over. And then with the other hand for the seasonings, I'm gonna go in with the same seasonings. Except for I'm not gonna put the Cajun seasoning on there this time, just because I don't want it to get too salty. And so by the time I'm done seasoning this all up, my oil should be ready. So as you can see, I put a lot of seasoning on my food, just so it can be tasty. So as you can see right now, I'm just sopping up the, yes, I did say sopping. Up the rest of the seasonings. After I get all the seasonings on the pork chop, I'll go ahead and throw it in a hot oiled skillet and fry each side until they're brown. And as you can see, I'm just kind of poking and seeing how quickly they're browning and how quickly they're cooking. And so after about 5 or 6 minutes on each side, it'll be time to take them out and start making our gravy. So now we're gonna go ahead and make this gravy. What I did was add more oil to the pan, and then I seasoned the pan with this in oil with the same seasonings that I seasoned the meat with. Then go ahead and add some flour. I added around 3 tablespoons and stirred to combine all of the ingredients. And as you can see, it's kind of dry, so that tells me I need to add a little bit more oil so that I can get it to the consistency that I want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with more vegetable oil and then keep stirring it. A little bit. And then keep stirring and stirring. And eventually it'll start to kind of look frothy. As you can see, It kind of, the best way to describe it, I guess, is to say frothy. It's kind of bubbling up and looking not creamy, frothy. Frothy is the word, right, guys? So as you can see, I'm constantly stirring. You want to keep stirring because you don't want to burn this base. So I've switched over to the whisk and switched the camera angle so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. After you stir it a while, you want to go ahead and start to kind of add your water. So turn that heat down so that when you add the water, it won't all evaporate at once. I like to add just a little bit of water at a time, just so that it's not starting to get clumpy. So I add a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time until it is the consistency that I want it to be. And you can call it whatever consistency you want to call it. Some people might like thicker gravies. Some people might like thinner gravies. That how much water you add is really a personal preference. The important part is add as much water as you want and keep stirring. Don't stop stirring. Just keep on stirring so that you don't get clumps and so that the gravy does not burn. And baby, please don't be like me and drop that whisk in that gravy. So after a while, it'll start to bubble and you want to still kind of stir it occasionally. And don't forget, add as much water or as little water as you want to. Is at this point, you can go ahead and add yourself some onions. I just wanted to cut up some and throw them off in the gravy so that they'll cook down. As the gravy continues to cook and as I add the meat into the gravy, it's at this point that you'll want to go ahead and add any seasonings that you want to add to the gravy. Sometimes the gravy might be a little bit bland, so just kind of give it a little taste and season it to taste based on how spicy or how salty or how whatever you want it to be. Then go ahead and add those pork chops in. As you can see, I've added them in and they're in there now and the gravy has thickened up some. So now I'm just going in and stirring them around so that the pork chops don't stick to the bottom of the pan. I'm gonna then move on to the sauteed spinach. I added maybe like a quarter of a stick of butter to a pan. I put some garlic in there as well. I put it on top of the butter to start just so that the garlic wouldn't burn. Garlic burns pretty quickly if you're not careful, so I wanted to just make sure that it didn't burn before I was able to get the spinach in there. Then I'll go ahead and add in the spinach bunch by bunch. I added quite a bit of spinach to this little pan because I knew that it would cook down considerably. So then you're just going to go ahead and season that spinach to taste with whatever you want to season it with. And just go ahead and keep cooking it down and then plate everything up. And as you can see here, I just put some of that gravy from the pork chops on top of some rice that I prepared. And this is what it looks like. And there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. And don't forget to share with your family and friends. Toodles.